Hello everyone, my name is Bahar Jehan and I will relate to you through an autoethnography the story of a consumer's account of changed behavior during the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm a Master's in Marketing International student and I have arrived in the UK on February 7th as a late arrival. It is midnight and after landing in London, a long drive awaits in order for me to get to Wales. As excited as I am, there is also a nervousness in the pit of my stomach, making me wonder if I've made the right decision to come and be away from my family and loved ones. I quiet down the worries, consoling myself that it will not be long before I finish and go back home again. Plus, this is for my education, and I say I will gain an experience of a lifetime. While I deal with these emotions halfway across the world in China, many are more worried about their health and well-being, never mind the feelings of a new country, but rather if they will survive and make it through the virus. Many stuck, quarantined, and unable to leave their homes in Wuhan, the name of the city many of us are familiar with now and most likely will not forget for years to come. At this time, the virus seems distant and incapable of reaching my doorsteps, so I am living oblivious of its capability of spreading all over the world. It wasn't long till the virus came knocking, of course. It must have been the first week of March when the cases seemed to be rising and school announced that it would be approaching a blended learning, and not long after was it decided that all models will be taught online. Around this time, there seemed to be a panic across the UK. At first, I have to confess that I did not take the virus as seriously. Health organizations did not want to cause a frenzy. So, they advised to wash our hands as often as possible and not to worry, that the symptoms occurred to be resembling of a common flu. However, many were not as calm and collected, myself included after being influenced by my family. The survival instincts of people started kicking in, and many rushed to the stores. During the pandemic, it so happened that my parents were in Turkey, while my brother was in Mongolia, my older sister in Canada, and the youngest sibling in America. Each one of us worrying and checking up on one another, asking about the cases and the updates. It was during one of our family conversations that they insisted I get the essentials that I need. Bahar, you must do your best to acquire hand sanitizers, cleaning wipes, and be sure to stock up on canned beans and rice, my sister said with a worrying tone. Try to get those that kill germs and bacteria. They'll work best and better for you to use, she continued. She behaves this way since she has also moved to Canada just a year ago. I guess it's the motherhood that made her like this. She's overly protective, and to be honest, I kind of understand where she's coming from. Being alone in a foreign country, no family or friends to give you that support system, nor that comfort or familiarity in what seems to be a chaotic time. So I could sympathize with her extra cautious behavior. Alright, do not worry. I'll do my best to buy all that I need. Although what I really wanted to say was, I don't get what is the big deal. I'm sure everyone is exaggerating the situation. Not like we're gonna starve. Plus, I'm in the UK. I'm sure I'll be fine. However, I knew if I said that, then I would have to spend the rest of the conversation reassuring them of how serious I take this pandemic. My behavior with this context can be explained by Marcus and Kitayama, 1991, as well as Singles in 1994, where they stated that in non-Western cultures, the normative is self-constructive interdependence. Interdependence means that a person views himself as part of a social relationship, and that his or her conduct is determined and organized by what one perceives to be the perceptions, emotions, and acts of others in a relationship. They must have sensed how I felt in my tone, because then I heard my brother saying, "Do you remember Katrina?" "Yes, but that's hardly the same," I said. "Well, the feeling definitely is not," my brother stated. The Katrina my brother is talking about is Category 5 Hurricane Katrina that was projected to hit Florida in 2005. I remember for an entire week we had no water or electricity. I felt as though I might have to go over the same struggles again, and this time I did not want to be unprepared. According to Yoon in 2017, there may be an engagement in panic buying when there may be an anticipated feeling of guilt by not performing a certain action or purchase, prompting forward intended purchases. So I finally said to them, "Alright guys, I will take a look at ordering online so I don't have to go out to the stores." I must have checked at least 4 retailers online and perhaps 5 pharmacies nearby before I got a hold on a hand sanitizer from Boots. I could only purchase one due to them placing a quota. Fear of the unknown is embodied in panic purchasing habits when customers turn their lack of knowledge about the crisis into behaviors viewed as soothing, offering support, or elevating tension. I called my sister frantically now, almost my hysteria at the same level as theirs. "I can't believe after all my searches I am able to find just a 400 milliliter hand sanitizer. This is outrageous." After the search for hand sanitizer, I now knew I needed to go and shop for groceries. My sister in Canada, to scare me farther, was showing me the state of big retailers, emptied out, influencing me farther. "What do you think the essentials are? Should I buy wet tissues? What type do you recommend? Is there a specific one I need to get?" I kept asking question after question. My sister realized I was now on panic mode as well. I could see she wanted to calm me down. As she opened her mouth, my nephews in the back cried out, distracting her from her train of thought. "Okay, go, don't worry, I got this. I will manage. How hard can it be? Just some cleaning products." I said bye and hung up, planning to head over to Tesco. I have never been the germophobic type, or better yet, never been the type to clean, hence never noticed the amount of cleaning products that existed. I should call Mom, I tell myself, but I stop, because I know if I do, she'll start worrying again. I take it upon myself to decide. It is not now that I take my sweet time figuring out what smells better or functions best, which is where perceptual vigilance came into play for me, stating that consumers are more aware of the sensations that contribute to their current needs. I realized I was now more aware of the news of the pandemic and listening to social media on what products people were buying. Later on, I hear the news of Turkey closing its borders, and the news amplified my need to buy. It seemed now more than ever that I would be here for a longer time than I anticipated for. I visited 2 other Tesco's that night. I could not find rice nor toilet paper. I had called my sister again that night as assurance, telling her the things I bought as well as the encounter I had. "I can't believe how people can be this cruel during a crisis like this," I recall saying. She could sense the distraught, since it wasn't long after I finished my sentence that she asked what had happened. I saw an elderly woman trying to gather whatever eggs that were left to make a full dozen carton, adding all the broken ones too. The aisles had emptied out, and you could not find anything besides a loaf of bread. I remember seeing her all by herself, pushing the cart slowly. I thought to myself this would be an impossible scene in Turkey, hence why it was unusual for me to see the elderly lady alone in such a time that was announced to be more dangerous and serious for her age group than mine. "That's terrible. Can you imagine if Grandpa were to be living alone? How do you think he would have coped with the situation?" my sister said. "Can't imagine it. I was gutted when I saw that old lady." According to the theories of social identity and self-categorization, people internalize the expectations and beliefs of the communities to which they belong by integrating the social identity as an element of their self-concept. "Don't worry, one of us will surely be there for them," she consoled me. "Of course," I said calmly. I knew what she said was true, considering the fact that in Turkey it is common for elderly parents to live in a joint house with one of their children. Therefore, the Turkish youth has values instilled in them, transferred from their families, and feels a sense of obligation to care for the elderly. I knew these values had been a part of my life since childhood, learned from religious institutions, schools, as well as families, along with early life experiences. The food I bought that day from Tesco lasted for weeks. On March 27th, I had an email from the Turkish embassy informing me about a flight back to Istanbul. I bought a ticket immediately. I was of course saddened to leave Wales, an adventure I never got to start, Though relieved to be going home,